So I've actually genuinely been excited about this one. So I've been an Ultra user for the last couple of years, so I'm really curious to see if this one is going to be the one that makes me switch. Honestly, it looks so good in black. Now, I really love what Samsung has been doing with their Z series of phones. We saw the Z Fold7, which was extremely thin, but yet extremely durable. And they took some of that learning and added that to the Z Flip7 as well to make it the slimmest and toughest flip phone yet. And honestly, this phone feels amazing. The new, more durable hinge helps to hide the crease a little bit better as well. And even though it is still slightly visible, it is definitely getting better year after year. And honestly, for the first time ever, the lineup feels amazing and polished. It comes in two different colors, the blue shadow and jet black. And jet black for me is probably the best. It just looks amazing in black. But the blue is also a great color. I loved it on the Fold7. So really no miss when it comes to choosing a color, as they all look amazing. The bezels are non-existent, and it really only has these buffers that protect the display when folded closed. The rounded corners of the bottle also makes it really comfortable to hold in hand. The volume buttons and power button all feel really nice and responsive. And of course, like some other models, the fingerprint scanner lives on the lock button and is actually really responsive. On the other side, you have your SIM card tray, but it also supports eSIM, and at the bottom you have your USB-C port, which can be used to charge the 4,300 mAh battery at a rate of 25 watt, which is actually decently fast, or via 10 watt wireless charging, which isn't great, but I'm glad they included it anyway. Now, from using this phone for the last couple of days, it really isn't the thinnest phone, but that is also kind of the point. Opened up, it's slightly thinner compared to the S25 Ultra, which makes it really comfortable to use while open. And even though they could have probably gone thinner to make it even thinner when folded, I do feel they have hit a nice balance, as you also don't really necessarily want a super thin phone when it is folded shut. Now, here's one thing that I really love about the Flip7 is that it is actually really pocketable. So while driving, you can just keep this in your pocket and you actually don't feel it as much as you would with a standard phone. With slab phones, usually, they stick out a little bit out of your pocket and then it usually just slips out while you're driving. But with this one, you can keep it in there. It sits snug, it doesn't sort of move, and you don't have to stress about it. What I also like about this phone is the fact that when it is folded, it is completely flat, like it seals perfectly in the middle. Back in the day, they had this sort of wedge shape, it almost like a triangle, and it had this little gap in the center. One thing that also changed this year is the cover display, and you now have this 4.1-inch infinite flex window display with 2600 nits of brightness and 120 Hz refresh rate. And honestly, this is the star of the show. It has extremely thin bezels on the sides. It makes it the most usable cover screen yet. And since it is bright enough to use outside, you can use it to take 50 megapixel selfies with ease, but then you can also use it outside to quickly do different tasks. But I wish it just did a little bit more and supported a little bit more apps, but I'm sure these will become more and more popular the longer this phone is on the market. Another great way to use this unique form factor is to prop it up like this and use it as its own tripod and use that to film yourself while making content. What's great about it is you can actually use the cover display to see exactly what is in frame while still using the phone's best lenses, which on devices like the S25 Ultra, for example, isn't possible just because you don't have a screen at the back. This makes it a great device for content creators filming a lot of reels or TikToks on their phone, or just people in general looking for an easy way to capture memories, as you can just place the phone on a table and have it record without worries or carrying around extra gear with you. Now, you can also use it as a camcorder to record video while walking, and it strangely enough adds some more stability while filming, as it feels more comfortable to hold as you have a more steady grip compared to just holding it like a standard phone with your fingers. And then of course, we can't forget about all of the AI features as well, as this is what makes this device fit into my life really well. As a soon-to-be dad, I've been using Gemini Live a lot, being able to ask questions like what to do, what to expect, and having the ability to actually ask follow-ups and keep it more conversational while learning is a massive plus on this device. I also use Gemini to come up with social media captions, set reminders, create calendar events. I use it to ask general questions. I even use it sometimes to edit photos with if I want to quickly remove something from a photo before posting, and so much more. For me, what they've done with Gemini and how it integrates with all of your different apps on your phone really is what makes these Samsung devices great. It really just takes those easy to do tasks, but that have sort of multiple different steps, and makes it extremely easy to execute by just asking for it. Instead of having to go into your calendar app, for example, look for the date, then choose the time, and then type in a name for the event, you can just simply ask it to add that to your calendar event for that day at that time, and it gets done within seconds. Now, it isn't rocket science at all, but it does save you a few seconds here or there, which does add up at the end of the day. And then of course you have One UI 8 that goes extremely deep with customization. Like, you can make this phone look either extremely clean, which is how I like to use my phones, or you can make it look like a Game Boy Advance SP. And you can also use different wallpapers on the cover screen to make these lenses blend in as well. It's really fun, really different, and there's so much that you can actually do with these guys. And then of course the elephant in the room, the Exynos chip. Yes, people love to drag it, and sure, it isn't the Snapdragon chip, but for the most part, for most sort of general users, the Exynos chip is probably a better solution anyway. You get a more balanced experience of battery life to performance, and honestly, the trade-off with more battery life is probably welcomed for most people. Like I said, most people don't really use all of the power of these Snapdragon chips anyway. So yes, if you are a power user, this might be a slight setback. If you are a more general user, the Exynos chip is more than enough. I was able to create content with this, whether I was filming videos, taking photos, editing those photos in Lightroom. It all sort of was handled extremely well. And as a device to express yourself, this is a really great option. And yes, after a week with this device, I get it. It's not just a device, it is sort of an entire vibe. And if you've been on the fence about getting a flip phone, then this might be your sign. And this might be your second sign. You see, I talk a lot about how this phone integrates into my day-to-day life, but it's just as important that this device actually protects it as well. There's a feature on the Samsung Galaxy Z series devices called Samsung SOS Plus. It's basically a lifeline that provides response service within minutes. It is incredibly reassuring to have, and the best part is that if you buy any eligible Samsung Galaxy device between the 1st of November and the 31st of January, Samsung will include free access to this private medical and armed response service for 12 months. It is one of those things that you hope that you never need, but glad that you have if you do need it. And then of course, T's and C's apply, so do make sure to head over to Samsung members to get all of the details on this and to see if the device that you want to get for yourself is eligible for this service. And then, until next time, cheers.